Welcome! Today as we look at text structure, we're looking at the cause and effect order in paragraphs. Cause and effect structure is defined as the details that are arranged to show connections between a result and the events that preceded it. You can also see it referred sometimes as problem solution order. You see it in social studies, science, math, graphs, timelines, stories, and yes, even films.
Finish that off for Mum.
Can I tempt you, Marge?
Just a small one. Excellent nosh, Petunia. Yeah, a bit more. Usually just a fry up for me, what with 12 dogs. A bit more. That's a boy. You want to try a little drop of brandy? A little drop of windy brandy will be wonderful, Rippy Tippy Poo. What are you smirking at? Where did you send the boy, Vernon?
St. Brutus's. It's a fine institution for hopeless cases.
They use a cane at St. Brutus's, boy?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I've been beaten loads of times.
Excellent. I won't have this namby-pamby, wishy-washy nonsense about not beating people who deserve it. But you mustn't blame yourself about how this one turned out, Vernon. It's all to do with blood. Bad blood will out. What is it the boy's father did, Petunia?
Nothing. He didn't work. He was unemployed.
And a drunk too, no doubt.
That's a lie.
What did you say?
My dad wasn't a drunk.
Don't worry, don't fuss, Petunia. I have a very firm grip.
I think it's time you went to bed.
Quiet, Vernon. You clean it up. Actually, it's nothing to do with the father. It's always to do with the mother. You see it all the time with dogs. If there's something wrong with the bitch, then there's something wrong with the pup.
Shut up! Shut up!
Right. Let me tell you. Vernon, do something! Oh, Ripper! Get down, I've got you, Marge! I've got you! Hold on! Don't you dare!
Sorry.
Okay, if we were to chart out the scene you just saw, we could break it down into a 2-column note, causes and effects, and we could literally break down event by event. If we started with one cause, which is one that we've just pulled out of the middle of the scene, Aunt Marge claims that Harry's father is a drunk. There's going to be a reaction to that. Then, Marge again is going to insult Harry's mother, and therefore Harry. There's going to be a result. That result is also going to be the cause for the next bit. Aunt Marge, it blows up, and then we have a series of effects through different characters. Marge claims that Harry's father is a drunk, so Harry gets angry, and we break that glass. Now, we could further on this effect and see the effect of Marge, the way she's claiming that she's stronger and things like that. But instead we're going to move to a different cause because we're following a different tract. Marge insults Harry's mother and himself, so he gets very angry, and then we see a series of events. The lights flicker, a wind appears, and oh yeah, Aunt Marge expands full of hot air, just like I guess she really is. As a result, other characters have to interact with this action. The effect of Marge insulting Harry's mother and thus blowing up becomes our next cause for the next series of events. Uncle Vernon tries to save his sister, gets attacked by her dog. He races after her as she's all blown up and floating away, and then he grabs on, saving for his dear life, and falls into the yard where she eventually floats away. Harry runs away. The dog bites Vernon's legs and chases after Marge. And Dudley, well, he gets hit in the face with a button. He's completely surprised because he's been watching so much television. And then, well, once the excitement's over, he just has some cake. The joy of cause and effect is that you can graph it multiple ways. And the two most useful graphic organizers are the one we just examined there, 2-column notes. But there's also cause and effect chains. You've seen these before, possibly in more traditional school where they give you a worksheet where you're able to graph things like this. So if we look at that same event chain, then we're just going to take one element here. If you insult Harry's mom, you're going to get an angry wizard, and that's going to lead to emotional magic. Lights are going to flicker, wind's going to blow, aunts are going to blow up, and, well, we know air inside of a balloon, balloons rise. Therefore, aunt's going to rise. Okay, but we have alternate choices here. What happens if the cause of insulting Harry's mom led to a completely different effect? How about an angry teenage boy who happens to be doing the dishes? Well, we know that's still the case, but it can result in completely different effects. What happens if Harry broke a dish, jumped over the counter, and threatens his aunt with a broken plate? And then his uncle calls the cops, and then Harry ends up in jail. Those causes and effects change a lot of things. But also know that an effect could also be a direct cause. So here we have insult the mom. The effect is also the next cause, an angry wizard. Causes can also become effects. Now, we have other ways of graphing them. Sometimes they get a little bit overwhelming. This is from the Library of Congress. It's the Great Depression. There's a ton of reasonings for it. And to make a chain would be really complex. So they've used this web. Now, webs are very useful, especially if you're going to do some writing, and it's good for brainstorming. But look how cluttered it is. And really, we could probably make a cause and effect chain for every single one of those different points. So, not always the most effective, but it's a nice, concise way to keep things. As we're reading, though, when we're looking at cause and effect, we need to look for those signposts, the signal words. Here's just a few. If then next finally, due to, because of, as a result of, for, since, consequently, as an effect of, so. You may see different variations of this, but these are the kind of base that you need to start looking for. Look for those science words, result, effect, consequence. Here we have an example of cause and effect in real text. I started out life as a pretty baby and learned to be a pretty girl from a pretty mother. Then, at 10 years of age, I suffered one of the worst cases of chickenpox I have ever heard of. My entire body, including the inside of my ears and in between my toes, was covered with pustules, which were in a fit of panic at my appearance. I scratched off my face, leaving permanent scars. A cruel school nurse told me that I would always have them. Tiny cuts that looked as if a mad cat had plunged its claws deep into my skin. I grew my hair long and hid behind it for the first years of my adolescence. This is when I learned to be invisible. Now, if we were to break up this paragraph and look at it within signal words, we'd put our signal words into blue. Well, I know that the entire piece is about the results of chickenpox, so my first cause has to be a sentence that has to do with that. At the age of 10 years of age, I suffered one of the worst cases of chickenpox I have ever heard of. Now I'm going to look within the paragraph for things that came as a result of those chickenpox. If I were to make a graph of this using a chain, I have multiple effects of one cause, but they've got that same look, the previous chain that we were doing with Harry Potter. I've got that cause up there in orange, terrible case of chickenpox. And then I have the 3 effects following shortly. Now, I could start a chain off of each of these. Off of Learn to be Invisible, I can include elements about growing one's hair long. Or off the Permanent Scars, the example of how it looked like a crazy cat had attacked her. But we're kind of aiming for the main root of the paragraph here and not looking at the details. Now, on a completely unrelated note, please know the difference between effect and affect. Effect is a noun, such as special effects in a movie, whereas affect is a verb, such as your hurtful words affect me. So you could say a statement like, I was so affected by the special effects that I cried. Or, as our example image says, the arrow affected the aardvark. The effect was eye-popping. If you have questions about cause and effect reading structure, please contact your teacher